Good afternoon, everybody. Gosh, it's hot, hot, hot. Everybody, it's hot. Make sure you put all your sun cream on you. Saying that, I need to get some sun cream when I go out later on my deck chair. Um, I haven't got deck chair. That's the point. Anyway, laugh out loud. Got to have a laugh, haven't we? Okay, I hope you enjoying the sun and everybody. And so, what we're going to do today?
Hello.
Hello, how are you? You okay? Hi, Jan. Hmm. Uh, she's gone again. So we're just waiting for Jan, and she'll be back on in a sec. Tell Jan to come back on. Um, hits. Hello, hello, Carlo. Okay, so yes. So what was I saying? Um, if you got any messages or you want to have a chat or anything, please leave your messages in the message box, and we'll get through to you. Just waiting for Jan to join me. Hello.
Do you hear me?
I can. Yes, I
I
can.
can't hear you.
Right. Why can't you hear me? Oh, yeah.
I
Uh,
can't hear you. This is the same as we had before.
yeah. Um,
Right. Do you want me to leave and start again?
please. Yes. Thank you. We're just waiting and waiting. So we're just waiting for Jan to come back on again, and let's see what happens. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. We're just waiting for Jan to come on to sort of sound out, and we'll be with you. We just got some sound problems at the moment, and I hope everybody is well. Uh, how are you, Steve? I'm okay, Carlo. How are you? Can everybody hear me? Um, if you're listening out there, can you kind of like please message me and say that you can hear me? Thank you so much. I'd be so grateful if you can tell me that you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you, Carlo. Thank you very much. So we're just waiting for Jan for a minute. Jan's got a few problems. We're just waiting. Anyway, who's enjoying the sun today? Gosh, it's hot in it. It's hot outside today. Gosh, um, it's very hot here where I live, and I hope you're putting all your sun cream on and everything. And oh, yes, it's really, really boiling. Um, let's see if Jan is around again. Let's have a look. Um, 2 seconds. Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. I tell you what, I discovered what the trick is. I have to turn my Bluetooth off and then everything works.
Well, there you go. It wasn't my end. It was your end.
I know.
Now, Jan, now I caught you the last time I caught you. You went on. You was away on holiday in my neck of the woods.
That's right. And yes, I was down in Cornwall, and I see they've got a big weather warning at the moment because it's too hot for everybody down there.
Yes, I'm frying at the moment. I can't see my feet. I think that's melted.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So anyway, so today we're talking about commitment and about losing weight and everything. So tell me how can we kind of like be committed in what we're doing to losing
Right.
weight and
Okay.
everything?
First of all, you have to make the decision that you're going to lose weight. All right. Now,
Right.
without that decision, nothing's going to actually happen. So what you have to do is you have to say to yourself, look, it's about time I did something about all this excess weight that I'm carrying around. So I am deciding today that I am going to do something about it. All right. So that is the first commitment that you make. So you basically promise to yourself that you're going to do something about it. Then, of course, what you then have to do is decide how you're going to do this. All right. Now, forget about all these fancy fad diets and they tell you, oh, don't eat this, don't eat that. What to do is let's just start you on a healthy eating plan where you are just trying to eat as many vegetables, fruit, and whatnot as possible. Eat protein. Now, what I mean by that is meat, fish, eggs, cheese, that sort of stuff. Now, the thing is, try and avoid, all your cake and all the rest of it, because that definitely does put on weight. But what to do is, I would suggest at the end of the week to actually allow yourself a treat to actually do that, to actually have a bit of cake. All right.
Right. Okay. So you're saying during the week, right? Big commitment. So if you want to lose weight, you've got to be committed to do it. You've got to have the commitment, and you've got to go for your goals. Say like, so if you want to lose weight, you've got to really be committed to do it and not have.
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, it's like, say if you wanted to save up money for a holiday, all right. Now, there's no point in just putting the odd penny in a jar because you're not going to get the money together for your holiday. You have to actually commit it and say, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save £10 a week, £20 a week, whatever. But you've decided what you're going to do to make it happen. And then, of course, once at the end of the day, when you count up your money, you're going to have enough for that holiday. So it's just the same principle. You want to make an actual commitment and say, right, I am going to do this particular thing every week. And then, now it might just be small changes, but we know over time that you will have accumulated all this good habits and all the rest of it. And at the end of the day, you will actually have lost weight. So
Mm,
it's really just a case of keep doing it and don't just, put your toes in the water and say, oh, well, I'll not do this. I'll not have any chips today, but I'll have chips tomorrow or whatever. Actually, you have to really make a decision and say, look, I'm actually going to take action right now and I'm going to do this.
yeah. The trouble is, though, let's kind of like turn back the clock to about January of that this year or the last few years when January comes and everybody goes right. My I can't remember what they call it now. My goal for next year is say I'm going to lose weight. Okay,
Yeah.
so they all sign up. They all look for these slimming worlds and they all look for all these groups and they say they do it and they do it and they're doing it. So they spend all this money out, and next minute, about 6 weeks after, they think, ah, I can't be bothered with that no more.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not commitment, Jan, is it?
No, because what's actually happening with your New Year resolutions, right? what you're feeling, see, after Christmas and all that, you probably had far too much to eat and drink and all the rest of it. So there's this thing called the 1st of January. Yeah. And we know it comes every year, no matter what, whether there's COVID or not. 1st of January still comes. All right. And everybody, they're just in this habit saying, oh, that means I've got to set a goal to lose weight. So what you're doing is you're not committing. Basically, you're just following the crowd. You're just saying, oh, well, 1st of January, that means I have to lose weight, right? So you've not made a proper commitment. You've not made a plan. You've not done anything. All you've done is looked at the calendar and said, that marks the 1st of January. That means I have to start a diet. That is why it doesn't work, because you haven't really properly decided that this is what I really want to do. And by the way, if you don't want to lose weight, you're not going to lose weight. That's it's simple as that. You need to really want to do it yourself.
You've got to be really committed, yeah. The trouble is, so it's no excuse as well, is it? If you're, it's no excuse to kind of like even kind of get up and walk to the bathroom, say, or kind of like walk to the kitchen. It's a start, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, just getting moving. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everybody is different. Everybody's got a different level of fitness. I mean, some people find it very difficult to even get up out of a sofa or a couch or whatever. And so that's why you've got to start really small. Yeah. As you say, if you could even just every half hour, say to yourself, right, I'm going to walk, say, to the front door and back to the couch. And I'm going to do that 2 or 3 times. And if you try and do that every half hour or every hour and keep it like clockwork, you've made that commitment. I am going to do this every half hour or every hour. So just start really slowly and do it. And the thing is, the more you do it, you'll probably find after a week or so that it's not a case of just going to the front door once and coming back to your chair. You might be able to do it 3 or 4 times. And this is where we're also talking about consistency. It's a case of keep doing what you're doing. That's the important thing.
And the trouble is, so see, we're, I don't, you probably know that I do a lot with obesity, I'm an advocate. And the trouble is with obesity at the moment, rates are going up. You're not just adults, children too. There's a big issue about that. We live in a country at the moment where we're nearly getting bad as America with obesity.
Yeah.
So what would you say if you had a chance to go to the government and say, this is what needs to be done? What would you actually say to the government about?
Well, it's interesting because, as you know, Steve, just this week they've announced they were talking about putting a tax on sugar and salt. Yeah. Now, obviously, they are just talking about it. I don't think that they're afraid to actually implement it because they know that they're going to get a huge backlash. But do you know what? I'm not even going to tell you my views on this. But what I'm going to do is say, remember, smoking was a huge problem in this country. And look what the government have managed to do. You can't smoke. You can't smoke in public areas. I mean, I remember when I worked with the civil service back in the early 1980s, I would actually be smoking at my desk. And not only would I be smoking at my desk, but people would come into the job center and I would actually be smoking while I was interviewing them. But if you saw that nowadays, you would think, shock, horror, that's absolutely awful.
Yeah, you smoke in the pubs everywhere, didn't they?
Well, that's it. And I mean, even now, as you say, I mean, I remember it would have been about in the middle of the 1980s and going into a cinema in Edinburgh, and they were actually trying an experiment of not allowing people to smoke in the cinema. And I thought, oh, this is dreadful. This is awful. But do you know what? You soon get used to it. Yeah. And look at it. I mean, obviously, the number of people who smoke has really gone way, way down. And it really is people sort of look down on people who smoke now because it is a really bad habit. But the thing is that all this junk food and all that, we have to start thinking about that as being the cigarettes now. We have to really do something about this because we are, just like cigarettes, we're killing ourselves with this junk food.
Yeah, but the trouble is, though, right, I don't know what your views is on this, right? But the supermarkets, right, the government, the supermarkets are actually killing us, really, because number one, you go into a supermarket, there's temptation in there, you know, and the trouble is, what's the government doing? They're not kind of like actually saying to the supermarkets, get rid of all the junk food, are they?
No,
They're just making money off us, aren't they?
well, the problem here is that you'll notice with the junk food, you'll go along, the biscuits or the cakes or whatever, you go along past those and they'll say, buy one, get one free. So not only is the temptation there, but they're even sort of saying, look at the money you're going to save, if you go and buy this junk, you know. But the problem is the cost to the National Health Service and whatnot of people being overweight is huge. I mean, I think it's billions that type 2 diabetes is costing the NHS. So it's just,
22 billion.
is it? Right.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
ridiculous. Yes. So, I mean,
Can you
something
imagine what the money?
absolutely,
Yeah,
it has to be done. Something has to be done. Yeah.
yeah. But the trouble is, they won't because at the end of the day, you know the the government, they don't know what they're. Well, I say the government don't know what they're doing because they're allowing this in the supermarkets. At one minute, they're kind of like saying, "Oh well, we've got to sort something out with obesity," and and really it starts by closing down all the take. This is what I believe in. All the fast food shops, getting rid of all that lot, all right, and also getting rid of all the rubbish that we got in our supermarkets. That's what I say.
Right.
But
Now that would obviously work because people wouldn't be able to buy it. And then of course, you know what, you'd get the black market, somebody saying, look, you want a packet of Oreos for only £6 for a packet of Oreos,
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But the trouble is,
Um,
though, come on, Jan, you got to admit, right? At the end of the day, where does the money go when these supermarket people sell all this junk food? Where does the money go back to? Goes back to the government, right?
right. I mean,
Okay.
obviously the thing is that what we have is, I mean, obviously the supermarkets are selling the goods, but it's the food manufacturers who are making the food. Yeah.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
they've obviously got all these scientists working on it day and night saying, right, what can we make next? We've got Oreo cereal now. You got everything Oreos. So you've got people in the Oreo factory just creating all these things just to attract us to buy even more rubbish. Yeah.
Mm.
The thing is that obviously these are companies who want to be in business. And the more that they can create that's rubbish, the more we're going to buy. Yeah.
Okay. So you've
Now,
got KFC, say you've got KFC,
yeah,
you've got
yeah,
McDonald's and all that coming in. The government are saying, "Oh well, yeah, okay, we're gonna, And next minute, I don't know if you've seen it in the paper when I was chained up against a fence because I wouldn't allow this KFC being built, right? And
right.
I'll tell you why I did that for. It's because what would happen is this that KFC was actually being built by a local school, and
All right.
yeah, and by law they have got to be by law the takeaway is got to be so many meters away from that school.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
by law, and that's what it says. But the trouble is, what was happening is with these children when these children were coming out of school, instead of going home for like a cooked meal, say they wanted KFC, they wanted McDonald's. It was there for them on the plate, and this is why we got a problem now with obesity.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, the thing is, often also you have children now who, I mean, I don't know how it was when you were a kid, Steve, but when I was a kid, you didn't have a choice. That was it. This is your dinner. If you don't eat it, you don't eat it. That's it. You don't get anything else. But now I think parents seem to be, oh, well, Johnny isn't eating that, so I'll just give him chicken nuggets instead or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it's difficult because the parents, obviously, if you're on a tight budget, you want to make sure that your kids are eating.
Yeah.
And if they're not wanting to eat vegetables and healthy stuff, you don't want to waste your money on stuff they're not going to eat. So you end up buying all the rubbish because at least you know they're going to eat it. So it's a huge, huge complex problem here. And it
Yeah,
certainly
no,
can't be solved.
I
Yeah.
can understand, that, but I still say, if they get rid of all the takeaways, right? I know they
Yep.
won't
Yep.
because the government are making millions and millions of pounds out of them. If they got rid of the takeaways, I think, we solved one of the problems, just one
Okay.
of the problems. That's what I
But
say.
then again, what you're doing then, though, is creating other problems because what about all these people who work in McDonald's and KFC? Suddenly they won't have a job.
Well, yeah, okay, you got me on that one. But the trouble is, the trouble is, McDonald's are on temporary contracts, aren't they? So people who work in McDonald's are on temporary contracts. So I'd rather get rid of a McDonald's. I'm not trying to say they're going to be out of work, but what I'm trying to say is that something's got to be done, and
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, I most certainly agree with you here. Something actually has to be done because the thing is, I know that we have our responsibility for our own health, but it's very, very difficult if everywhere you go, there's fast food or there's cheap muffins, cakes, all the rest of it. I mean,
mm,
I go into the supermarket and and I'll go by, where the cakes are and all that sort of stuff, and they'll say, "Oh, buy one pack, get one free." So
temptation,
you're
yeah,
sort of saying, "Well, I would be a mug not to
yeah,
take the other free thing, wouldn't I?" And of
yeah,
course, it's not going to be able to be in my kitchen not eaten. It's got to be eaten. And we're in this horrible sort of dilemma here where we feel that we are definitely under pressure. With
mm,
the marketers, supermarkets, food manufacturers, everybody.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, ideally, if we could go back 100 years, yeah, where there were none of these takeaway sort of things and whatnot, where we basically, if we wanted to eat, we had to, cook our own food, basically.
yeah,
That would be it,
yeah. Yeah, but I remember growing up with my mum, sorry, my family, and what it was, my mum used to say, I used to say to my mum, "What we got for tea?" And she used to say, "If it's there, you can have it. If it's not, you can't." And
That's right.
we all used to sit down, and if one person didn't like what they'd done, then tough. My mum used to
Yeah.
say, "Sorry, that was it." You know what I mean? I remember going to my nan's once, and she put some tripe out, and
All right. Okay.
I hated tripe, and I said, "Can I have some sugar on my bread?" I buttered some bread and put some sugar on it, and I ate that, and it was
Yeah. Yeah.
at that time it was horrible, but it was something to eat. But the trouble is, these days it's out there for them, and the government have said, "Oh yeah, we've got to tackle this obesity." And then you got, and it's but that's I don't want to carry on about that, because we're going away from the
So what,
subject.
Steve? I mean, you're talking about KFC and all that. What if they didn't actually get rid of KFC or McDonald's, but what if they put the prices way up? Would you approve of that?
Um, it'll certainly kind of like change things because they won't be able to afford it much. But there's still temptation there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, I
Because
mean, people would say, ah, but hold on, that's not fair on the people who don't earn very much money. Yeah. You're depriving them of being able to get a McDonald's, but all these rich people could go out and buy a McDonald's.
Why would they go to McDonald's or KFC? They can always go to like
A
the
fancy
Royal
place.
Hotel.
Yes, that's right.
You
Yes.
know what I mean? So anyway, what I want to go through is this.
Hmm.
Um, I've got a title here. Determine why you want to lose weight. Really about losing weight. We need to be determined to lose weight, don't we?
Yeah, yeah. We have to decide that this is what we're going to do, and we have to be committed, and we have to think about a plan. What are we going to do? Because, I mean, the only way you're going to lose weight is to actually change something in your diet. All right. So, whether that's avoiding cake, chips, that sort of stuff, eating more veg. So, you've got a sort of a plan there that what you're going to be doing.
Yeah. And then number two, we got here our realistic expectations. So we all have expectations, don't we?
Yeah, you're not going to lose 10 pounds in a week. I can assure you of that. It's much better to gradually lose weight, maybe a pound a week. Now it's not very fast, but the thing is that if you're happy with just a pound a week, that's fine, because you don't have to make some huge changes. And the thing is that if you're making small changes, it means then you're creating habits to eat better, because this is one of the reasons why diets don't work, as they keep saying, because people will lose a lot of weight quickly. But the problem is they haven't learned any new habits. All they've done is told themselves, I'm not allowed this. And therefore, once they achieve their goal weight, guess what? Your brain says, oh, I'm allowed to eat this now because I've already got my weight down. So as soon as your brain says you're allowed to eat whatever you like, that's why you end up putting all that weight back on again. So you have to make small changes and keep those small changes and keep them and get them to stick. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah, you're totally right. Number three, I got here, focus on process goals. Really, we've got to really focus on our goals. Are we
What,
going to
yeah,
actually do it? Yeah,
don't, yeah, don't sort of look at the end result. What I'm saying is, so you're not, don't think of your goal as I'm going to lose 25 pounds, right? Because that's an outcome goal. That's what happens at the end of a particular time span. What you want to do is look at the process goal. So that means what is involved every day for me to get closer and closer to my goal. So what you'll say is, well, my goal every day is to drink 5 glasses of water, or my goal for this week is to have 5 portions of fruit and veg every single day. So if you're making these changes every single day, and that's what we mean by a process goal, it's all a part of the process that you're learning how to eat more healthily.
yeah. Then number four here is got pick a plan that fits your lifestyle. Well, you've been talking about a plan for the last 10 minutes, haven't you?
Yeah, it's really just, I mean, I think most people do realize what is healthy food, and they realize what food is not healthy. And this is really it's having this sort of plan. Yeah, know what you're going to do for a particular day. Now, there will be times, of course, when, especially with this really brilliant weather and whatnot, that, people will say, oh, let's go and have a barbecue or whatever. I tell you what, go out, enjoy the barbecue. That's it. Yeah, especially because we don't get this sort of weather very often. Take advantage of it. Don't worry about your goal for that day. But the next day, you're starting into that process where you're committed. But don't feel totally deprived. That's the thing, because if you go around feeling deprived, then you're going to give it up altogether.
Of course,
Hmm.
and that's when your commitment and your kind of like your desire to lose weight just falls apart, doesn't it?
Oh, it just disappears. That's it. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Um, and also keep a weight loss journal.
Yes.
That's what I used to do. I used to keep on like a weight loss journal. I used to kind of like say, right, okay, this is what's happened today. And
Hmm.
sometimes you might have your good days and your bad days. That's
Yeah,
right, isn't
yeah.
it?
Well, this is it, because also when you're writing up a journal, you're also able to write down how you're feeling. Yeah. And just say, well, I was having a really bad day. Such and such was happening, and things weren't going right, and I ended up eating, a half a chocolate cake or whatever. So what you want to do is actually write that down, and then everything you write down you can learn from. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what you're doing is you're saying, well, okay, I'm having this chocolate cake, but what actually caused me to have that? So, okay, my boss at work, he was nasty or whatever, or whatever. So it's really a case of, you have to start thinking, instead of eating to relieve any stress, think of different ways to do it. And I mean, if you can go out for a short walk or whatever, just get away from the situation. That makes a huge difference to what you're doing for your own health.
Totally agree there. Um, Celebrate your successes. I'll put down. Losing weight is hard, so celebrate all your successes to keep yourself motivated.
Excellent. Yes. And don't celebrate it with a big cake.
No,
What you
no.
what you want to do is say, okay, so you have to sort of think about, what do you really enjoy doing? Some people celebrate it just by having a really long soak in the bath or something like that. To celebrate doesn't have to cost money, that's for sure. It's just things that that you really enjoy doing. That's what you want to focus on.
Yeah. And finally, it's make a commitment, what we've been saying in the beginning, telling others about your weight loss goals and help you stay accountable. Tell your close family and friends, and even
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
consider
Now,
sharing
you
them to
might
people.
actually find that some people say, "You've tried this before and it never worked. So why do you think it's going to work this time?" And basically, you'll just sort of say, "Well, do you know what? You'll just have to wait and see." That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And what else is it here? We got um what was it? Sorry about this. Yeah. So so the more people you share your goals with, the greater the accountability. Always be
Oh,
focused.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And also, I mean, another way of accountability is measure yourself. And I mean, get an inch tape out and measure yourself once a week. Yeah. And that means that you're actually monitoring your own progress. And it's great. If you can see these numbers going down and down and down, that is so motivational.
yeah. And what I want to leave you with, guys, today is don't aim for perfection and give yourself. So I believe, this is what I used to do, when I was, sorry, the phone. What I used to do, if things were going tough for me in life,
Yeah.
I wasn't aiming for the perfection. And I was kind of like, I had moments where I was getting low and getting down. So I had to forgive myself, for the times when I wanted to lose weight. We're not perfect, are we?
No. And the thing is, we know there's going to be times when we fall. There will. There'll be tons, loads of times we'll fall. But you know what the secret is? Get up and do it again. Just keep trying, because unless you try, you're not going to get anywhere. So you might fail now and again and whatnot, but just say, do you know what? I've learned that lesson. Let me try again.
Yeah, and that's right. Definitely. Thank you so much, Jan, for joining me today.
Well, you're
You're
more
a
than
lovely person.
welcome.
Thank you for that. And we will have other topics as the weeks go ahead. And
Right,
brilliant. That was really
great.
good. Thanks, Jan. Enjoy the sun.
Okay, then. Right. Speak to you later. Okay,
Bye
then.
bye. Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.
Yeah.